speaking of us seeing things, we have the reviews.
Amazing, man. Who's reviewing first? Want to go? Rich, you never go first. You
go first, Rich.
Okay. So, what have I been? I haven't really been. I've been really busy. So, to be honest, I didn't really watch anything until I was doing the script for this, and I was watching Disney Gallery Star Wars, The Mandalorian. Yeah. So this is 2 episodes at the moment. Basically, what it is, it's just basically like a documentary about the Mandalorian. So the first episode was they were talking to the directors, basically, or the directors just talking about themselves, about their experience with Star Wars and how they got into it, their first time with Star Wars. It's not anything like they're questioning them. It's just them on a round table, just actually talking. And the second episode was the legacy. So it's just talking about the legacy of Star Wars and what it means to certain people that's working, like Kathleen Kennedy. Jesus, what's the guy's name who's actually the man doing the Clone Wars? I'm
gonna call him D-Man.
What is his name? I had it. I just had it in my head, but it's gone now.
Is that a Furby?
Furby?
Yeah, it's like a Furby.
What is that, Karen? I don't know what that is. Dave Filoni. So yeah, Dave Filoni.
There we go.
So yeah, it was really good, man. It basically the directors telling them how they just saying how they got into it. It's really interesting just to see like the way that they work and how they got into Star Wars, and you can kind of tell why the Mandalorian is the way it is, in a sense, because the way that these guys are talking anyway, it seems like they know Star Wars. The best part was at the end of episode 2 with Dave Filoni. Basically, he was talking like this makes me want to go back and watch Phantom Menace again, right? So basically, what he was saying about it is, so the Duel of the Fate, the last fight with
don't spoil.
oh man, you got to be spoiled if you haven't seen it.
Wait,
no, Phantom Menace. Yeah.
Oh,
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I saw that shit in the
yeah.
cinema.
So the Duel of the Fate, the fight with Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan.
And Obi-Wan.
So that is the pivotal point of George Lucas's Star Wars, right? So the reason why he's saying it's called Duel of the Fate, because it's the duel of the fate of Anakin, because if you go back and watch it,
which I did about a couple of weeks ago.
Qui-Gon, he is kind of, he's not like the other Jedis at this point. Like when you learn about Qui-Gon, he is kind of like, he is the rebellious one, wasn't he? But all the Jedis are all interested in this other thing where he is like this kid has got the Force. We need to kind of like take him and like adapt him, kind of thing. And if you notice, like I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm just going by what he was saying on there. Obi-Wan was like, why are we here? Why are we talking to Jar Jar Binks? Why are we here to just get this other life form? He wasn't really into the thing of picking up Anakin. And he was saying like the Duel of the Fate was, depending on how this fight appears, is whether Anakin will be the good Jedi or the bad Jedi. Because if Qui-Gon had won the fight, then he would have had that father figure. Because Anakin was that. Qui-Gon was the father figure. He was the guy to take him from his mother and teach him the ways, and actually took care of him. And he was really like had the fatherly figure of Anakin when he was a kid. But he lost. So it coming into like I said, Obi-Wan wasn't really interested in all of that, so he kind of took on Anakin.
It was kind of like
it kind of took on as a burden, as a favor to Qui-Gon. So even though Obi-Wan and Anakin kind of grew up together in a sense, it was more of a brotherly thing and not like a fatherly thing. So it was a failing in Obi-Wan actually bringing him up like that. So that way, and that's the reason why the Emperor could like kind of manipulate him, because he was kind of like. And when you watch, you don't really. That's the thing about it as well. You don't really get all this from the movies. When you watch Clone Wars, obviously it kind of develops the relationship as well. So you kind of see that, you know, the Emperor is kind of. So how are you today, Anakin? How is things going? He's got that kind of loving grooming thing. That's the word. That grooming thing going on.
Kind of like what Odell did to Jennifer in Black Lightning.
Every time you bring up Black Lightning, I'm gonna find you. So I'm gonna find you.
No, he groomed her, and then she ended up killing for him.
I don't know who they are either, man.
Okay.
You're talking caca.
When you said Jennifer, I thought you were gonna. I was thinking about Friends. I was like, what happened? Like with Jennifer Aniston, what happened?
Oh, that was a brilliant segment.
So yeah,
amazing. Good, as you were saying.
So yeah, well, after he like Dave Filoni, when like I've got a new respect after watching Clone Wars and Rebels. Like I've got a new I've got a new love for Star Wars in a sense now, and it's kind of
which is much needed.
It was definitely needed. And just the way that Dave Filoni was speaking about that, he was like, actually, do you know what? I never actually thought of it like that or read it that way. So when I actually want to go back and watch it again. And I've never ever wanted to go back and watch The Phantom Menace again.
No, those movies, especially considering the way the new trilogy turned out, that trilogy isn't that bad as we make it out to be. We make it out to be, it's actually pretty decent. But that first one is still a bit of a once the plot is over, it's all right.
That's the thing. It should.
But the other thing I was gonna say is there is on what you just said or what the guy said on that show. There is no way that Anakin would have gone dark. When I think about it, he was raised by Qui-Gon. It just would not have happened. Yeah. Watching Qui-Gon, he's my favorite after Mace Windu, by the way. Like Qui-Gon's sick.
Yeah.
If he raised Anakin, there's no way or at least Darth Vader, that name would have gone to someone else.
Yeah. And I think as well that's why when it makes sense when you're looking at Obi-Wan when he came to Luke. And he was like, nah, I have to make it right. Yeah. Like, I have to be invested in the child kind of thing. And he was like, I'm going to stay here and watch you grow and watch you, and then be that figure for you. So when you go off, and that's why he kind of, obviously he maintained the goodness. But, you know what I mean? It was just like, it was very.
But that's the thing. He was even saying that, even he thought that Luke had the bad side in him. And he could have went to the dark side, but it was only until he saw when he cut off his dad's hands, and he looked back and he saw his hand. He looked at his own hand, and that was when he was like,
"This conversation is great." So I've watched it recently, so I'm like,
So it's like he kind of realized, look, this is what the Emperor wants, and he said in it, he said like when he was a kid, that kind of scared him. Like when the Emperor said, "I have your father, and now I'll have you." Kind of thing, because as a kid, what he was saying is like being a kid and thinking that someone has control of your father, like your father, and then having the control of you is kind of scary when you think about it as a little kid. So that kind of,
I think that's scary for kids who grew up with their fathers.
Okay.
I'm like, what? No, I didn't get that.
That was like a 3-pointer of like family. In one, that was amazing. That was great. Like that line, that's a 2020 line right there.
What was I gonna say? I forgot, but that sounds all done.
So basically, this Disney Gallery is it is an insight. If you're into the Star Wars things, if you like Mandalorian, it's basically all about Mandalorian, the Mandalorian. So it kind of
it's gonna turn my light.
It kind of just talks to you about the production of it and the directors and where they're coming from and things like that. It's really interesting. Really, really. I do recommend you watch it after you've watched The Mandalorian, but definitely try and watch it if you can.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
Woohoo!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go on you, Kieran, go.
I don't know how to review. I don't know how to review this.
What is it?
If I'm honest, I feel like so it's issue 2 of On the Stump. It came to me in the mail randomly. And the funny thing is, the one thing I just want to say is this is how my comics are coming. So I was complaining last week that my comics aren't coming. This is issue 2, and at the back it's got coming next month, issue 3. Yeah, issue 3 should have been out on Wednesday, the 22nd of April.
Oh dear.
It is now the 13th of May, and I've already just got issue 2, so they're probably like on issue 4 now.
Yeah.
But I digress. So this is issue 2 of On the Stump. I don't know how to talk about this because it's too new, and what happened in issue 1 was too far away. But basically, there's these two.
Gist.
So I think what I told you before is that it's America, and it's an America where all the politicians, if they want to vote for a candidate, or if they want a law passed or anything political like that, fight for it. And I love that idea. When you were talking about how that show is coming on Netflix and it's only got 5 issues, I'm like, please make this a live action. That would be sick. It's actually a really good comic, how they just fight for it. But it's not just kind of like fighting in the ring. So there's these 2 fighters, I forget who they are. They go to like this meeting, and they're working on the 2 fighters who come in. They're fighting at the moment to get some bill passed. I forget what it is, but they've gone to this meeting and they're I don't know, constituents or whatever. Like, we want you to start working on the bill. I'm going to call it metahuman just for, or X-Gene, whichever
X-Gene.
one. They want them to pass. They want them to pass a bill so that they can have fighters with X-Genes, abilities. And these 2 guys are like, no, we've been doing it this way for however long. We don't want any part of that. So then one of the fighters kind of taunts the guy in the suit. No, first the guy in the suit is like, how dare you 2 come to my office looking like this? Because they're just wearing their fighting gear. One of them is wearing like a moose's skull on his head. They're like, oh, we've been doing this for years. Show some respect to it. So then the guy in the suit saying, we want this done. And they're like, we don't want to do that. So then he beats up the one who's wearing. He kills him actually. He's wearing a suit. He doesn't like to fight. I don't even remember the character's name, so it's whatever. Kills
Moose Man.
Kills Moose Man, and says to the other guy, "Look, I want this bill passed. Start working on this." And I'm not going to go into the rest of the story because I can't remember who these characters are. But artwork, it's it's decent. It's kind of I don't know how to call it.
Back up, but that's cute. That's nice. Yeah.
A lot of characters are black.
I love that.
So what I remember, judging by these 2, there's a cop and this other politician who are trying to find out what's going on the stump. The stump is the thing where they fight. It's the ring where they fight. Trying to find out all the what's the word? The when something's dodgy.
Something's dodgy.
All the underground shit that's going on. I can't think right now. They're trying to solve that little mystery. While he's got these politicians that are fighting for like super soldiers, and then there's these 2 assassin girls. They killed someone in the first issue. They were in prison, and they, through a series of events, they break out, murder someone else. I'm not explaining it the best. It's because it was too long between the first read. I don't even know where that first comic is to kind of go back and reference it. But as an issue 2, from what I remember, this was a really good comic. Like I said, I really hope it gets a live action.
Who's it from?
Yeah,
I feel like It's by Image Comics, and it's written by Chuck Brown, and the art is by just someone called Prenzy.
Nice.
That's it. Not a John Prenzy or an Amy Prenzy, just Prenzy.
Not
a LaQuisha or a
Karen.
Hero.
Just Prenzy.
Just Prenzy.
Like that. We like that.
I actually think, as much as I'm enjoying this, and I can't wait until I eventually get issue 3, it'll be nice to kind of have more know what's going on a bit more.
Yeah.
It's too, you know, when a comic is too new for you to pick up. It feels like that. But from what I do understand, it's pretty good, and I feel like it's great as a comic book. But I feel like it would be magnificent if done right, translated into live action.
Okay, let me ask you this:
so, imagine that
live action movie or series? Series.
Oh, series.
Yeah.
Series. It's got to be a series. Yeah. I can so see this kind of on like a HBO type of vibe.
You know.
HBO because they're the ones on TV who just don't give a fuck. If not HBO, obviously Netflix, because we already know they don't give a fuck. They give less fucks than TV.
Right.
So
they need to do that, and they need to do that. That would be
Do
phenomenal.
you know what?
Phenomenal.
If they did I Hate Fairyland, it have to be an 18. And it has to be a cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking as well.
Don't do that.
Yeah. That'd be so good.
I'm interested in this one.
I'm going to give it 2.5.
2.5
weeks. And the only reason I'm giving it 2.5 is because out of 5,
like half,
because I need...
That's like half.
Huh? Yeah. Because it's pretty good. Yeah. It's actually really, really good. And I like fighting as well. Like
you're making it sound more like a 3.5. Yeah, you see.
Yeah. Or at least a smooth 3.
Like a smooth. We'll call it a 3.
Yeah.
We didn't bully it.
No, I mean that's your score. But when you said 2.5, I was like, huh? You're describing it.
The reason is because
it sounds pretty good.
It is a 3. I was being stingy. It is at least a 3. The only reason I was giving it a 2.5 is only because of myself. I can't remember A, what happened properly in the first issue, and B, because this is only issue 2, and it's not there in my head. It's so new. I don't know these characters. I don't know the names yet. So I was actually supposed to try and find another review. You know when you read something, you watch a review to kind of like, I ain't that guy, not right now. If it was a Batman comic, I'll have you like, yeah, Bruce did this, Catwoman came, and oh my days, Commissioner Gordon.
It's okay, you got Moose Man, Suit Guy, Assassin Girl. This find their names.
I like the cover. Can you not see the cover? Hang on.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
That's a good cover, man.
Ooh, we like it.
Those are the two. So he's a politician, black. He's a police officer, black. And they're sort of the main characters, but we don't know yet because it's like they're introducing a lot of characters. There's also those 2 girls who go around killing people. And then there's politicians. It's just hard to know who's who as of yet. But
nice.
It's dope.
Okay.
Freaky.
Alrighty. Cool.
Okay. I will keep my review short and sweet because I have reviewed this before. Okay, so The Hollow on Netflix, season 2. So animated TV series. Basically, this group. There's a game, it's a virtual game, you get plugged in and you get turned into a little avatar, but your memory gets wiped and you find out that you have kind of semi-superpowers and you have to do, it's kind of like a quest thing. You can go through different lands.
When you say your memory gets wiped, does that mean you don't remember who you are at all? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wait, so, does your real world memories get wiped or does your memory of being in the game get wiped?
In the game get wiped.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get plugged into the game, you get turned into like an avatar, whatever, just a cartoon basically, cartoon character, and then but you don't know why you're there. Like, so you have no record, and then you're like, you can just about remember your name, and there's 2 other people in the room with you, and then there's a clue, and blah. So you've got to go through these different lands and da-da-da. So in the first season, they did that, and then obviously you find you have a team, and da-da-da-da, and then they completed the game. Yeah, they completed the game, they won. And they came out of the digital realm. or so they thought. Okay, so we're on season 2 now of the Hollow. So the Hollow is basically the organization that makes the game. So these guys wake up in their own houses, but everything is a little bit off. Something's not right, but they're retaining all of their memories. So now they're like, okay, I remember everything of the Hollow in the game. I remember all my teammates, but my mum is acting hella weird. My dad looks different. And there's a giant clown running down the street after me every time I come out my house. So like everything's a little bit. So basically, we're on the journey again for them to find out what's going on.
It sounds really interesting. Like, I was just thinking you should have put this on our last episode that we did, different worlds. It sounds sick, man.
I know. When I was like, why didn't I put this down? I was like, oh yeah, actually, I didn't watch it. Like, but like, so they're finding out different things, and the twist at the end is really good. I don't want to spoil it because it's really good. When I first reviewed the first season, at the end, that's tiny spoiler, but like when they come out, obviously they come out of the digital world, but they come out and they become human. And I was like, I don't want to see them in a human form because I've been watching cartoons.
So when they come out, they're actually real humans. It's not animated anymore.
Yeah.
Like, see.
No, it's people. So, and then I was like, do I like this? I was like, do I like this?
Yeah.
Like, and I thought they were gonna like do it in a human form, but then they went back to the animation. I was like, yes, this is good, kind of thing. But yeah, so in this Hollow, like there's a bit of a glitch and things are happening that keep going wrong, and it's basically like, they're finding people who were in the previous game. And they got to work together, you know what I mean? Some, friendships falling out, and one person's lying about something, and then there's but the game is still going on. So these like 6 or 7 people, whatever, from the old game are having to compete with the new gamers that are in the Hollow. So it's a race against time to be like, we kind of got to stop them from winning, but we can't stop them from winning. You know what I mean? So they've got to figure everything out, and when they find out why they're there and how they're there, it's a bit of a trip. So I'm like, this is kind of like a Westworld. Oh my god! Like, so it's really, really good. So if you get a chance to watch it,
I'm going through the pictures on Google. No, it looks.
Is it the show? Because I watched the trailer the other day, and my because I'm learning Spanish, my Netflix is in Spanish. So there was this show called El Vacío.
Okay.
And it was with this kid in the trailer, and he's being chased by, it's a cartoon, he's being chased by his other kids, and he's cornered in an alley. And then he one goes to punch him, and he jumps on his head, and then jumps on the roof.
Yep, that's it.
Like, they're all like, how did he? And then he's like, I still have my powers.
Yes, that's it. Yes,
that looks sick. That's on my list.
That's it. That's the
show.
Yeah, I'll be watching
that. Watch that. So watch season 1 and then watch season 2. Okay. It's just really entertaining. It's a nice little story, and like I like the animation. It's really like Funko. It almost reminds me of like Funko Pop, kind of a little bit. I don't know why, but yeah, no, it's really, really good. I give it 4.5 out of 4.5 geeks, just because. Yeah, I just it's good. I hope they do another season. I don't know. I mean, if they didn't, I wouldn't be mad because these 2 seasons are kind of a nice like full circle.
Yeah.
But if they wanted to, they could do and then do like a massive like crescendo at the end. But they don't need to after these 2. It's really
good. It when it shows end like that, where you can be satisfied with what you've got, but it leaves the possibility.
Yeah,
that's good storytelling.
Yeah. So it's really good.
Sick.
Yay, the Honor!
Nice.
Cool. That's
all right. So